Hi, I'm Archie. I write, epics mostly. I also do short stories and I've done a book of them. This book is called Ice Maid. Here we are. I'm not sure how this will work, but you can see that. It worked like that. There's the back of it. Table of contents. You can see that there. All paper. I like the feel of books. I like the look of them. I'm going to put that down. This is also available as Kindle downloads. Now, authors should read their work out loud. This tells readers what's inside. This video is a preview of my collection, and I'm going to read Carrie. My name is Carrie. It isn't as elegant a name as that of my good friend Independence, but there are some compensations. For example, everyone calls her Indy. Now, what kind of a name is that, for goodness sake? It is so long since she has been called by her true name that I'm beginning to suspect that they have forgotten it. That can be our secret. But I digress. I am lithe and athletic, with a beautiful tortoise shell and white coat. I was born far from here, and I am loving and affectionate with my pets. Unfortunately, my first pet got into trouble with the law. He didn't listen to me as I was so young. In turn, I felt betrayed. It was time to move on, and so I came here. My new pet thought it a good idea to introduce me to the three guardians of this house. Two of them, Cassiopeia and Miss Heavenly Bliss, ignored me. They had sufficient manners and were of good breeding, being Bichon Frise and Border Collie respectively. In any case, they knew I was not to be trifled with, and if there was to be trouble, they would answer to my pet, who under my tutelage makes the rules here. The third guardian, Jasmine, proved a different prospect. True to her German shepherd pedigree, she repeatedly lunged at me and made such a fuss that I could see there was to be no peace between us. It is a good thing my new pet restrained her, or who knows how matters might have gone. At my insistence, my pet provided me with flea collar and drops. They weren't strictly necessary, but one has to go through the forms, and I had no desire to seem of common stock. I bore this indignity with good grace, only rarely attempting to dislodge the device. It was clear from the outset that I would need a friend and companion, and soon I made my feelings known to my pet. Within several days, Independence arrived. I let her know the rules of our house, and I'm afraid a few tussles were necessary in order to impress upon her the value of deferring to my wishes. Of indistinct ancestry, but with a good temperament, Independence is a little younger than me, has long black hair, and is my best friend. We work as a team, and I share everything with her. Together we manage the affairs of our home. Our main duty is to ensure that my pet conducts herself in a manner appropriate to her position. My pet's main duties are to feed us and clean our toilets. She has other duties, but these are of little consequence. Having described the three guardians, it behoves me to point out their limitations. Firstly, they are bestowed by nature with an affinity for dirt. Were they to be let through the house, they would track it everywhere, and so for this handicap they are only fit to guard the kitchen. This is not an unsatisfactory state of affairs. It means Independence and I share the rest of the home in peace. Secondly, as slaves to their appetites, they wolf their meals down, which, as you might imagine, makes a mess. Whereas I have more self-respect, eating delicately, and then only when I'm good and ready. If I choose to leave some for later, that's my own affair. My pet has a litter of 4. We are generous to my pet and allow her litter to share our residence. In truth, the place would be large and empty without their presence. We may see little of them for days at a time, but when the mood takes us, we will play with them. Each of her offspring is allowed one room to which we occasionally assert our visiting rights. It is after all our home, and who knows what foolishness they might get up to if unsupervised. Her offspring are large and clumsy, but well-meaning for the most. Sometimes they need a firm hand in regard of unacceptable behaviour. For example, the eldest female offspring decided to place me on her shoulders. Well, I am sorry, but I decide if and when I wish to be on anyone's shoulders. In this case, a line needed to be drawn. So I descended, trailing my claws gently down her right arm, which was bare. Her flesh scored nicely. It will heal, but she won't be doing that again in a hurry. My pet also has a mate slave. You know the sort. Lazy, never there when there's work to be done, temperamental and ready to argue at the drop of a feather. He's gone for long periods of the day. Often, on his return, he will bring lumps of metal, which, if manipulated correctly, can be opened. Their contents are invariably stale, smelly food. Sometimes these are offered to us, which politeness commends we consume. But as I partake, I wonder, how has he caught it? Why is it always old? And why does it not look as tempting as the fresh pigeon on the garden fence? In my opinion, he's too old and slow to catch real food, and so must scavenge in the wake of others for their malodorous leavings. At first I thought that foraging for food defined him, but it soon became clear that he had further roles. He plays well, is kind and gentle, and doesn't prod and poke me as if I were made of clay. When stooping to play with me, he doesn't object if I leap onto his back or shoulders, and he doesn't rudely push me off, preferring to entice me down. He is also parent to her litter, as mismatched a litter as you are ever likely to see. In fact, their offspring are such a mixture of shapes and sizes, you would doubt they were born together. Now here we come to a matter of concern. I am beginning to suspect his seed is almost sterile. My pet hasn't conceived in all the time I've been here. What good is a mate slave that can't beget young? She should kick him out and get another one. Does my pet not see that I will ensure a stable home? On my own account, I gave much consideration to the possibility of procreation. 2 months ago, I decided to be neutered, along with my companion, Independence. This will prevent much future anguish, and I refuse to be foolish slave to biology, rutting like a slut. When the day's labours of my pet are done, she will often sit at her desk, on which stands a flat screen. For unknown reasons, she watches strange, meaningless markings on it. I believe they help her to relax. At times like these, I try to communicate with her. I know she is not unintelligent. Whenever I express my views on the matter of her almost useless mate-slave, she offers me a scrunched-up ball of paper to chase, which I, of course, find irresistible. Carrie, 6 months. My book is available as Kindle downloads. It's also on Lulu and uses their print-on-demand technology. The Lulu reference is www.lulu.com/content/12476238. Thanks for listening.